The day my husband played a piano piece, then I chose divorce of mourning. I took Daisy for her checkup. A brand new upright piano had appeared in the hospital lobby without warning. Zachary was suddenly seized by whim. He stepped up and rippled through a piece like he'd done it forever. Startled and impressed, I filmed him and posted the clip to my TikTok feed. Known you 8 years and never guessed my rough and ready guy could play. What other surprises are hiding from your empress? When I opened my phone again, the clip had already blown up. One top-voted comment stabbed straight at my eyes. That's the Inuyasha theme, love across time and space. He's missing his real love, clearly not you. My fingers froze around the phone. The likes on that reply kept climbing with every fresh view. The answers stacked below it were just as loaded. I steadied my breathing and couldn't stop myself from scrolling. You never knew he could play first. That means he never played for you. Second, he's still fluent after all these years, so he's been playing it on repeat inside his head. Girl, what if he's only acting the roughneck for you? Where's the real softness going? Chew on that. Hey, at least he married you must mean you're the closest copy-paste, right? The comment section is living proof of when one's in trouble. 8 sides rush to add fuel. Op's gonna have fun tonight. I'll bet $1 there'll be squawking chickens in the author's house before bedtime. I stared until the screen blurred, the notes still echoing in my skull. Right then Zachary was crouched in the play corner, lost in peekaboo with Daisy. Sweet little Daisy, are you hidden? The big bad wolf is coming to find you. Daisy stuck her tiny butt out, face buried behind the curtain, and chirped, I'm all tucked away. Daddy, come find me. The next second father and daughter collapsed in giggles. I kept my tone light. Babe, in all these years you never mentioned piano. Did you take lessons as a kid? Zachary's smile snagged, his gaze slid sideways. Daddy, it's your turn, you go hide. Daisy tugged his sleeve, grateful for the rescue. Zach hoisted her up. All right, game over, let's wash those hands and find some lunch. Then, casual as you please, he told me, never formally studied. My middle school desk mate took piano and tossed me a few pointers, pure hobby level. Not worth bragging about. I watched his face, after that first start of panic, only calm so it had to be true. Still, some stubborn instinct whispered he'd trimmed the story, got it? I laughed. Middle school ancient history. Pretty impressive you haven't rusted. He scratched his head. Well, that's the only piece I know. Back then my memory was fresh, so it stuck, pure muscle memory. I let the interrogation die. Maybe I was seeing ghosts. Maybe the internet was just high on drama. I flicked the clip to private and swore I'd leave it buried. In the minutes we'd been talking, the commentariat had already sketched an epic romance, starring Zachary and his white moonlight. After lunch, Zach said he had to swing by the office. I put Daisy down for her nap. I get how packed his schedule is. Without a word, I packed his laptop bag and tucked in a carton of milk. Don't overdo it, come home early. He pecked my cheeks hard enough to smudge, and Daisy clamored for the same treatment. At that moment, I still believed we were the happiest little triangle on earth. 20 minutes later, Daisy was zonked beside me, but sleep kept bouncing off my skull. I caved, unearthed the hidden video, and reopened the comment section. 2 new DMs waited in my inbox. The first sender had a kitten avatar. Girl, why'd you delete? I'm a piano teacher, did your hubby stop halfway? That spot is where the girl's part begins. No shade, just FYI. The second came from a male account. First, as a guy I know men. Second, poke around his buddies, you'll dig up something you never knew. I was still debating answers when Zach texted, babe, department dinner tonight, spouses welcome. Wanna come? I'd always wanted in on his work world, but chances were rare. He used to shrug it off as a sausage fest bore. This was a first. I answered, sure, first time meeting your crew, what should I wear? Nothing in my closet feels right. He pinged back instantly, hit the mall and treat yourself, maybe try a pleated skirt? Zach's your classic tech bro, clothing details die on him. He's never retained a dress style longer than a heartbeat. Besides, I hate skirts, could count my dress days on one hand. After Daisy arrived, I hadn't worn one in years. Whenever I ask his opinion, he shrugs, looks the same, cute either way. Thousands of comments suddenly flooded my lungs, I couldn't breathe. That casual pleated skirt shoved me under harder. A man who can't tell silk from cotton blurts out a specific cut. When I didn't answer, he messaged again, babe? You there? I typed fast. Daisy just rolled over, had to soothe her. Since when do you have opinions? On pleated skirts? I've never owned one, no clue how to style it. He sent a goofy grin sticker. You always say I'm blind to fashion, so I followed some influencer accounts, educating myself. Sure it wasn't some cute coworker flashing one at the office? He shot back a Xiaohongshu link on styling pleats. Please, we're a certified monastery, only female on the floor is the cleaning auntie. Lol, then a $2,000 transfer, drop Daisy at my mom's when she wakes, go splurge. I'll pick you up after I'm done. I don't remember what I replied, autopilot took over. Even when I had the pleated skirt zipped up in the fitting room. The mirror felt like someone else's reflection. The salesgirl gushed that it was born for me. I heard none of it. All I saw was whoever taught him piano and wore pleated skirts. 6:30 found me in the mall cafe, waiting for Zachary. The second he stepped through the door, he swept the restaurant with one brisk circuit, eyes landing on me like someone had flipped a switch. "Babe, that dress is killer," he said. "I don't even want to take you to this dinner. Too many people will see my gorgeous wife." I managed a thin smile, flatterer. Maybe their wives are prettier. Zach slung my purse over his shoulder, laced his fingers through mine, and strutted out like a peacock. Impossible. No one tops my wife. The whole meal floated by on easy laughter and 3 rounds of drinks. A newly graduated hire sat beside Zach. The kid overdid the wine and threw up on Zach's sleeve. Zach grimaced, excused himself, and headed for the men's room to clean up. That was when I noticed a second phone tucked beneath his. It looked foreign, some Android model I'd never seen. He'd never brought it home. My hand moved before my brain caught up. Same passcode, thank God, so it opened. Bare bones apps, work WhatsApp, work Slack, TikTok and Instagram feeds full of nothing but corporate posts. I combed through every folder twice, 0 personal crumbs, no trace of life outside the office. I exhaled, slid it back exactly where I'd found it, and arranged my face into neutral. He returned a good 10 minutes later, shirt front dark, with water stains, still smiling. "You full, or should I DoorDash something when we get home?" "I'm good." He ruffled my hair, soft and proprietary, drawing hoots from the table. "Come on, your kid's in preschool and you two still act like newlyweds." The tease came from Miles, Zach's best friend since grade school, now his desk mate at the tech campus. Zach punched his shoulder. "Get lost." Before we called for the check, Miles herded everyone into a group photo. He airdropped the shot to the whole table on the walk to the parking lot. In the car, Zach zoomed the picture until only the 2 of us filled the screen. Eyes on the phone, he smiled a small, private smile. "Came out nice." I studied his face. "What part is nice?" Without looking up, "The dress." "Good eye, huh? You should wear that cut more often." I felt petty and said so. "Fine crop, just us two," and posted on Instagram then. He hesitated, then darkened the screen. "You know me, never post." "Haven't once since Daisy was born." I lifted one shoulder and let it drop. Late that night he showered, collapsed, and began to snore. I stared at the ceiling, phone glowing in my hand. Big data really kills privacy. 30 seconds of idle scrolling and the algorithm served me the exact group photo from dinner. Miles had posted it. One by one I opened the comment section just inside jokes from the same crew. Bored, I jumped to his profile. 42 clips, mostly trophy bass, a couple of kitchen table moments with his wife and toddler. Low follower count, probably only friends. Zach's alt account was on the list, avatar the profile I'd snapped of him driving. I kept scrolling until a blank headshot stopped me. Handle @late.He. Gut instinct screamed open it. My heart tripped. White space everywhere, no avatar, no bio, one lonely video. Timestamp, January 1st, 2017, New Year's Day, the night Zach asked me to be his girlfriend. We'd counted down in the plaza. Someone had filmed me releasing a balloon. No caption. Underneath, Miles had written, "Tiffany kinda looks like you, huh?" Tiffany had replied, "Don't be ridiculous." A bad taste rose in my throat. Why did Miles think I resembled her? What did YT even stand for? The account never posted again and followed only the 2 of them. Dig deeper, my brain ordered. I tapped into Tiffany's page. Profile shot, a girl in a pleated skirt at a baby grand. Banner image, rows of competition medals. Videos on loop, Chopin, Debussy, pop covers. Pretty obvious she taught piano for a living. In her pinned clip I spotted Zach's comment, "Tiffany, when I have kids, they're taking lessons from you." Her reply, "Deal, family discount, 50% off." So that's it, the girl who used to share his keyboard in high school. He asked me to wear pleated skirts because she does. Yuan and Tiffany. The morning after Daisy was born he'd said, "Let's call her Daisy, sweet like honey." At her first birthday he'd cooed, "Look at those long fingers, born to play piano." Clues had littered our life, but I dusted everyone under the rug. He'd never folded me into his friend group, never told stories from before we met. I, on the other hand, had spilled every grade school anecdote he could probably name. My 3rd grade crush. "I'm a boring engineer," he'd shrug. "Work eats my life." Nothing to tell. So I still didn't know Miles's real last name. Didn't matter, I'd thought. An overshare pairs naturally with a vault. Marriage is chemistry. Then came the courthouse wedding, the pregnancy, our daughter. No reception, my one quiet regret. What girl doesn't dream of walking down the aisle in a white wedding gown? Zach had laid out the pros and cons. Banquets are cheesy. You'd have to wake up at 4 for makeup, run through circus tricks all day. With that cash we could fly to Tuscany instead. Pathetic, I'd said yes. On a non-desktop Tuesday, we signed the license, flew to Cancun for 4 nights. No wonder acquaintances later gasped, "You two are married?" Now I see he hadn't wanted her to find out. I powered the phone off, pressed my face into the pillow, and ordered myself to breathe. Part of me wanted to sob, but the evidence still felt threadbare, nothing concrete, only ghosts. Dawn leaked through the blinds. I nudged him, wake up. Time to pick up Daisy. I dodged her nickname, it tasted bitter on my tongue. He blinked awake. What time? Almost 9. He stretched, flinging off the quilt. Sweetie pie princess, daddy's coming to rescue you. Any other morning I'd tease him for being wrapped around her finger, but today the pet name sounded like someone else's refrain. I finished a quick rinse and brush, then headed for my in-laws' house. By the way, I said offhandedly in the car, I was thinking of signing Daisy up for some after-school class, something to give her a little polish. What do you think? Zachary nodded instantly. Sure, dance, calligraphy, painting, tennis, swimming. Go, tons of great options. He rattled off every after-school class in existence except piano. The way he tried to cover it up was almost funny. I'd like her to try an instrument, I said. We can let her sample a few and see which one she clicks with. Sounds good, Zachary said. You handle it, no objections from me. After we picked up Daisy, Zachary mentioned he had to swing by the office. Why don't I drop you two at home first? No need, I refused. We'll wander around for a bit, you go ahead. I watched the taillights shrink, disappear around the corner. Then hailed a cab. Quinn, Melody Piano Studio on Hawthorne, please. Outside the studio, the front desk girl was already waiting at the door. She had the good sense to open it for us. Are you Dylan? I smiled and nodded. That's me. I booked a trial lesson with Tiffany. Great, Tiffany still has 10 minutes left in her current class. Have a seat and some water. She beamed at Daisy. You must be Sterling Yuan, so adorable. My daughter answered in her baby voice, thank you, pretty Gigi. The girl melted, led Daisy to the kids' corner and kept her entertained. I used the lull to look around. Both walls of the corridor were lined with competition photos. One photo stopped me cold. I recognized her instantly, hair swept up, evening gown, elegant fingers on the keys. The receptionist introduced her proudly. That's Tiffany, the teacher you booked. She's our top instructor, absolute parent favorite. Every student she trains wins prizes. I couldn't look away. Is that so? Just then a classroom door opened. To cute kids chorused, thank you, Tiffany, bye. The receptionist waved. Tiffany, your trial parent is here. Tiffany walked over, all warmth. Jordan, I'm Tiffany, where's our little candidate? I called Daisy. Sweetie, come here. Tiffany laughed. What a coincidence, your daughter's name is Tiffany too. I gave a small smile. Pretty lucky, huh? The moment she saw Daisy, her smile evaporated. I knew exactly why. My daughter is the spitting image of Zachary. People always joke, swap every baby in the hospital and you'd still never mix those two up, they share one face. I tilted my head, feigning confusion. Tiffany, what's wrong? She snapped back, oh nothing. Mistook her for someone else. No big deal. I smiled and said nothing. The receptionist handed Tiffany the info sheet I'd filled in. When she read the name line, Sterling Yuan, her pupils contracted and her knuckles whitened around the paper. The girl nudged her. Tiffany, snap out of it, take the kid inside. Tiffany finally unfroze, robotically led Daisy into the room. The door was clear glass so parents could watch. I noticed that throughout the lesson her spine stayed steel straight, and several times she guilt flashed to me and looked away. Half an hour later the session ended. As the teacher, she still had to sell me the package. I opened small talk. So, Tiffany, how's Daisy? Does she have potential? She gave the standard praise. Tiffany's terrific, long slim fingers, natural curiosity, perfect for piano. I played surprised. Really? My husband says the same. He's been dying to find her a top-notch starter teacher. Her grin stiffened. Your husband said that. Did he send you here? Yep, but he's swamped. Kid stuff is my turf. He claims total trust in whatever I decide. Tiffany murmured, your husband sounds great. Men chase careers, moms chase schedules. Speaking of which, Tiffany, are you married? She blinked. Oh, not yet. I feigned shock. No way, someone as amazing as you must have lines around the block. An awkward chuckle. Haven't met the right one. I nodded understandingly, then stood to wrap up. Let me pay for 10 lessons. Next class dad can tag along. The girl pulled up the payment code, but Tiffany clamped a hand over it. Actually, Dylan, you might want to shop around first, check a few studios. No need, I like what I see. She darted a panicked look and stammered, I'm so sorry. My roster just filled up, I might not have slots for your daughter. I can recommend some other excellent teachers. From the receptionist's puzzled face, I knew Tiffany was lying through her teeth. She probably couldn't stomach a live three-way confrontation. I sighed regretfully, pity. I'll think it over then. She exhaled, dazed, still staring into space as we left, so out of it she didn't even hear Daisy wave and say bye. One short meeting with me and she falls apart? Yet she chats just fine with Zachary on their phones all day. When Zachary came home that night, his face was uncharacteristically dark. I pretended not to notice and kept cooking. The moment the door shut, I peeked out. "Hey babe, wash up, dinner's almost ready." He dumped his laptop bag, ignored Daisy's outstretched arms, and marched straight to me. In an accusing tone, he asked, "Where did you go today?" I shrugged, scooping stir-fry. "Nowhere special. Oh, I took Daisy to a piano studio for a trial. The teacher's name is Tiffany. To crazy coincidence." He studied my face. "How did you find her? Why her?" I didn't pause the spatula. "How else? Citywide deal app, her studio ranks first, so I snagged a coupon." Distrust flickered in his eyes. "Really? Pure coincidence, nothing more?" I frowned. "Check my purchase history if you want." "What's with the interrogation?" "I took our kid to one lousy demo, big deal." Seeing my indignation, he relaxed. Instantly he morphed, slipping his arms around me from behind. "Sorry, rough day at work." "So how was it? Did Daisy like it? Did you pay?" "Maybe we should keep looking. A tiny place might not be professional enough." I let it slide. "Haven't paid. Planning to compare a few." He blew out a huge breath, whole body loosening. "Good call. What's for dinner, my queen?" "Starving here." I cleared my throat and shoved him off. "Go wash your hands." Deep in the night, steady breathing rose from Zachary and Daisy. I tiptoed into the bathroom with his phone, unlocked it, opened TikTok, and switched accounts. Sure enough, there was an alt account. Inside that alt account, I found Tiffany's chat thread. I skimmed yesterday's long back and forth. They'd talked about everything. I didn't have the patience to read every word. I took the new SIM I'd bought yesterday and registered my own alt account. I copied Tiffany's exact profile picture, her bio, even re-uploaded every video she'd ever posted. Then I blocked the real Tiffany. This was my final test. Back in bed, the phone screen glowed with tomorrow's to-do, Mom's birthday banquet. I shut my eyes, calm for the first time in days. Whether this family survived would be decided tomorrow. At 8:30 the next morning, just before Zachary left, I reminded him to meet us at Full House near his office for Mom's birthday lunch. He nodded, said he'd remember. After he walked out, I packed up and drove Daisy to my parents'. At 10 I messaged him from my fake Tiffany account. "What are you doing? I miss you so much today." About 10 minutes later, the tick turned to read, "At work." Before I could even exhale, another text popped up. "I miss you too, baby." That was the moment my heart flat-lined. My impersonation was full of holes. Anyone looking close would spot them. He hadn't noticed. Which meant they talked like this all the time. Relatives trickled into the private dining room. Mom, glowing in a brand new kipao, worked the table, soaking up compliments. Dad bounced Daisy on his knee and asked, "Where's Zach? He's late." I texted, "Everybody's here. How far out are you?" "Zachary, on my way, 10 minutes tops." Soon he pushed through the door, bouquet in hand. Megawatt smile in place. "Happy birthday, Mom." Mom's eyes crinkled into crescents as she sang his praises. The whole table joined the chorus before the first dish arrived. I took Daisy to the restroom to rinse her hair. From my borrowed identity I sent Zachary, "Can you come eat with me instead? I'm down today. I need to see you. I'll wait at the studio." He read it, didn't reply. When we returned, he was already somewhere else, popping his phone awake every few seconds, nodding at elders without hearing them. I asked softly, "What's wrong?" He forced a smile. "Urgent thing at work. Boss wants me back ASAP." I spoke slowly. "Is it that important? Mom hasn't even cut her cake. You have to leave now?" He wouldn't meet my eyes. "Yeah. I have to go." My heart sank inch by inch. I focused on loading Daisy's plate. "Then go. That side matters more after all." I let the words bite. He didn't feel the teeth. He stood, apologizing to the table. "Sorry, everyone. Emergency at the office. Enjoy the meal. Don't wait for me." The room went awkwardly quiet. Mom and Dad's smiles froze. Relatives rushed to smooth things over. "Young people have to hustle. You're lucky to have such a hardworking son-in-law." Mom and Dad brightened again, only I felt the needle sliding down my throat. Back home that afternoon I called him. "Zachary, let's divorce. Split everything, the house and Daisy. Come to me." Silence pulsed on the line for a long time. "What did you just say?" I hung up. He called back a dozen times. I rejected everyone. Soon he burst through the front door, white-faced. "Have you lost your mind? One missed lunch with your mom and you want a divorce? Who'd even believe that? Did someone poison your ear after I left? Can't you think for yourself instead of repeating gossip?" Looking at his sputtering rage, I almost laughed. "Was work really what you did at noon? Tell me now if you're hiding something. This is your chance." The anger drained from his body like someone pulled a plug. His lips twitched, opening and closing on air. I sneered. "Spare yourself the hunt for a perfect excuse. The message inviting you to lunch?" I sent it. Lightbulb moment. No wonder she looked confused when I showed up. "Honey, let me explain. I didn't mean to lie, but I couldn't tell the truth in front of your family. I figured I'd clear it up later." We're just old classmates, nothing more. And when exactly did you plan to clear it up? I cut in. Stop kidding yourself, Zachary. We're done. I won't sign. You can't prove I actually cheated, but an emotional affair carves deeper than a physical one. He grabbed my hand. Please, I'll cut her off right now. I can't lose you and Daisy. Hearing our daughter's name ignited me. Oh, Daisy, do you even hear yourself? You know who you're really calling when you say her nickname. If you two are so inseparable, why didn't you just marry her back then? Why skulk around? He clawed at his hair, sobbing. Her parents were addicts and dealers, up to their necks in debt, both in prison. Mine wouldn't let me near her, my chest split open. So you picked me, matched pedigrees, matched incomes, used me as your shield while you pined for her. You wasted my entire 20s, Zachary. Well calculated. He stood thunderstruck, as if the thought had never crossed his mind. His silence confirmed every syllable. I felt a million needles ignite under my skin. Pack a bag and get out. You owe Daisy and me at least the house. Tomorrow, after I drop Daisy at Mom's, we meet at City Hall. Tell your parents yourself. If I do it, I'll lose control and the scene will be ugly. His eyes were bloodshot, voice raw. I never physically touched her. Why won't you believe me? I'll delete every trace of her right now. Watch. He dropped to his knees, hand in the air. If I ever contact her again, let lightning strike me dead. I looked down, stone cold. I'm saying this once more. Take your things and leave. He clung to my legs, begging. No, I'm staying. I'll fix this. I yanked free and called my in-laws. I'm divorcing your son. Come collect him before this gets worse. If he wants a spectacle, we'll give the whole family front row seats. Half an hour later, the front door rattled under a sharp knock. Outside stood not only my in-laws but also my own parents. Perfect timing, I said. Zachary and I are getting divorced. Consider this the announcement. The four elders stared at one another. In all the years Zachary and I had been together, we had never once raised our voices, never let a quarrel slip in front of them. How could divorce suddenly be on the table? My father-in-law was the first to speak. Iris, what's going on between you two? Did that bastard Zach do something to upset you? Tell me, sweetheart, and I'll knock some sense into him. I gave a cold laugh. What happened? You'll have to ask your precious son. Zachary was still on his knees, head bowed, swallowing sobs. My mother-in-law stamped her foot in panic. Zach, say something. You've been married for years. Your daughter's already so big. Divorce isn't a word you toss around. He stayed silent, eyes shut, and the sight of his cowed posture ignited a nameless fire in me. I squeezed my eyes shut so I wouldn't have to look. My parents flanked me, each holding an elbow. Iris, you're pale as paper. Sit down, honey. Sit first, then we'll talk. I spoke quietly. Zachary cheated. I'm filing for divorce. Our daughter will stay with me. The room fell mute. Every pair of eyes swung to Zachary, who still couldn't lift his head. My in-laws' faces flushed crimson. My own parents looked staggered, unable to believe it. They had imagined 1,000 scenarios, never this one. My mother-in-law rushed forward. Son, is Iris telling the truth? You cheated? How could you do something lower than an animal? Who is she? I'll tear that woman's mouth apart. Zachary blurted out, I didn't, Mom, I didn't cheat. It's all a misunderstanding. We just talked a little more than we should have, met a few times, nothing happened. No matter how I explain, she won't believe me. I cut him off. Tiffany, does that name ring a bell? My mother-in-law froze. Tiffany, oh. I know that name all too well. The next second, she slapped him hard across the face. Zachary. Didn't I warn you years ago to stay away from her? All this time and you still haven't cut it off. She hammered at his shoulders, grief-stricken. Why won't you ever listen to me? Her family's a cesspool, why dive back in? He didn't dodge, eyes still shut. He let her hit him. My father-in-law finally intervened. Iris, you're the only daughter-in-law we acknowledge. No matter how that woman schemes, she'll never replace you. We failed to raise our son properly. Let us take him home and set him straight. Even for Daisy's sake, the two of you should try to make this work. I answered flatly, educate your son under your own roof. Don't stage a show in front of me. The divorce is happening. And from now on, Daisy won't be called Daisy anymore. I'm changing her name. My mother gripped my hand. She didn't speak, but I knew she stood with me. I gave her a small nod and a smile to show I was okay. My in-laws turned pleading eyes to my parents. Margaret, Arthur, say something. You can't just watch the kids fall apart like this. My father kept quiet while he finished a cigarette, then said, my daughter's grown. She has her own mind. As her dad, I back her unconditionally. Zachary's face was already streaked with tears. Mom, Dad, please help me beg her. I really don't want a divorce. Seeing their son so humiliated pained my in-laws. In a huff, my mother-in-law muttered, at bottom, our son didn't actually cheat, he just got a little close to that woman. Aren't you blowing this out of proportion? Men will be men, it's understandable. My parents exploded at once. That's the most ridiculous thing we've ever heard. So my daughter has to catch them in bed before you'll call it cheating. Your son showed the first symptoms and my daughter caught them early and you still quibble. Men will be men. I'm a man and I've never done anything like that. You're a man too. Does that mean you've done the same behind your wife's back and think it's normal? My in-laws had always treated me well, but as expected, when trouble hits they side with their son. This time I was truly furious. Mom, Dad, have some self-respect. Instead of standing here being despised, better leave cleanly so things aren't so ugly when we meet again. Their faces burned red, they had no comeback. Silence settled over the room and their footsteps faded down the walkway. I lay on the bed, cradling my sleeping daughter, tears slipping out unchecked, soaking a wide patch of the pillow. Yesterday we had been a blissful trio. In the blink of an eye we were in ruins. I wondered whether I would regret this choice, whether my daughter would one day demand to know where her father was. But I couldn't overthink it. What mattered was refusing to stay aggrieved. Even if I raised her alone, I could still give her a good, joyful life. The next time I saw Zachary we were walking out of the clerk's office. He looked 10 years older, overnight and shaven, hair a mess, dark bags drooping almost to the corners of his mouth. He was utterly deflated. Iris, there's still a month cooling off period. Can you think it over? Give me 1 month to prove myself, to show you I can be completely devoted. I stepped around him and kept walking. He reached out to block me. Please just say yes. I laughed in spite of myself. Who do you think you are, ordering me to promise anything? Take that energy and run to Tiffany. Your parents know about her now. Convince them and maybe you two can finally be together. Zachary sagged like a punctured balloon. When did you first sense it? You remember the day we took Daisy for her checkup and you casually played that piano piece in the hospital lobby? That's when. Recalling the online comments still stabbed at me, a 15-second clip. And the whole world could see through the man while I alone had stayed blind. He drew a long breath. I understand. I'm sorry, Iris. I didn't want to hear another syllable. I turned away and left him behind. Life after Zachary wasn't the lonely wasteland I'd imagined. As Daisy grew, more and more space opened up for me. While she was at school I worked. In our free time we traveled and soaked in every beautiful view. Only now and then she would ask, "Where's Daddy? Why doesn't Daddy come home?" I would answer calmly, "He's probably dead."